excuse me.
No, I don't want to plan this, you silly meta planner. There we go. Starting now. This would help if I said starting instead of charting. There we go. Okay. Carry on. We're good. All right. Welcome to Pembroke Area Toastmasters, our celebrating and thanking Phil night. We're going to have an opportunity to listen to Phil, actually, because I found a recording that I had. So he's going to be providing our educational tip this evening.
Aww.
And we're going to get to see a few photos, the many faces of Phil, and then have an opportunity just to share some memories or some thoughts. So our Toastmaster for tonight is Ed. So please help me welcome Ed as our Toastmaster.
Thank you, Fran. Fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests. I'll start by reading our Indigenous Land Statement. I believe this is something that Phil wanted us to do, so we'll certainly continue it. The Pembroke and Area Toastmasters Club acknowledges that we members live, work, and play on the unceded, unsurrendered territory of the Anishinaabe Algonquin Nation, whose presence here reaches back to time immemorial. Now, our club mission: we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Now, our introduction of our theme. Our theme tonight is to remember and honor Phil Godon, who has been a member of this club. Is he a charter member, Fran? No, he's been a member a very long time anyway. I first met Phil, in Toastmasters. A bit of background first. Years ago, before Pathways, Toastmasters was guided by paper manuals.
Mhm.
This is how I did all of my speeches up to my DTM, my Distinguished Toastmaster Award. While most of my manuals were received by mail, occasionally I was able to get additional manuals at the traveling Toastmasters bookstore that accompanied District 61 events such as training and conventions. That was when I first met Phil. He led and was the Toastmasters traveling bookstore. He led that. He was our Toastmasters bookstore. He was the master of that. Also met Phil when involved in contests and special area events, because he was often there too as a speaker or leader. Later, when I joined Pembroke and Area Toastmasters Club, I often met him each week at our meetings. He always greatly contributed to our meetings. He was a friend of mine and will be missed. Our next is our toast. Fran, would you please give us our toast?
Unmuted. There we go. Tonight, we are honoring Phil Godon, a dedicated member of the Pembroke and Area Toastmasters Club who moved on November 29th to his final resting place. Phil served on a number of executive roles, most recently treasurer. Over the years, he has mentored many Toastmasters and shared the wisdom he has developed with his many years of membership in Ottawa and in the Valley. Phil believed that we should always be sharing with our community, and he demonstrated this in a number of ways, from running speech crafts to the Killaloe Kids Book Fest, to participating in a number of ways with Stone Fence Theatre, from building sets to acting, to his most recent ventures in Killaloe, the reading trail in the Killaloe Pathways Park, and taking on the role of president for the Killaloe Seniors Friendship Club. Phil will be greatly missed by all those with whom he came in contact, family, friends, new and old acquaintances, including all the Toastmasters who knew him. So please join me in raising your glasses in a toast to Phil.
And a toast.
Phil.
Phil.
To Phil.
Phil.
Thank you, Fran. The next item on our agenda is Joker Story. In this case, I'm going to read some words that I've got from other people about Phil. Start out with by Mark Bisonnet. I met Phil through Toastmasters in Pembroke, Ontario. Phil was literally one of the people who made the planet a better place of existence by his existence. If you ever talked to him, he was soft-spoken, but always had an impish gleam in his eye. You knew a funny story or a joke was about to come down. As a teacher of words, Phil had a way of always coming up with genuine compliment and well-thought constructive critique that made you glad for his contribution to your improvement. I haven't seen Phil for several years since leaving Whitewater Township, but I can see his smile and hear his voice, clear as ever in my mind now. You were an awesome human being, Phil. By Frank Schilder. I will not be able to make the special meeting, but have fond memories of Phil, especially about the district bookstore. Would you please pass on my special thoughts during the meeting? I wish I could make it. By Gina Cook. Phil was a lovely person and a good Toastmasters member. He will be missed. My condolences to his family and those who loved him. Norma Domi. My deepest condolences to Phil's family. It was always a pleasure working with him in the Toastmasters International program. May he rest in peace. Leona Hamill. My deepest sympathies to Kathy and family. Phil was loved by his Toastmaster family, and he will be sorely missed. May he rest in peace. By Simon Parcher. Maureen and I would attend, but we'll be at Phil's visitation in Killaloe tomorrow from 3 to 7 p.m. The Zoom invitation is a great opportunity to allow those who cannot attend to share their thoughts and feelings about the loss of this true gentleman and dedicated Toastmaster. And lastly, by Beverly McKeever. How sad. Saw his obituary this morning in the Citizen. I'm glad I met him through Toastmasters.
He impacted a lot of people. Oh, Beth. Yay, Beth. Just come in.
Our next event is our normal table topics, which is going to be very different today. It's going to be the many faces of Phil.
Actually, this is the educational tip first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's being
mistake.
presented by Phil via an MP that he recorded, an
Okay.
MP4. So let me just bring that up. Oh, I think when I clicked on that thing a minute ago, I lost it. So hang on.
It was working good in the
I
pretest.
know, I know. Now, is it coming up or not?
No.
Not see it. Nope.
All right, so give me a second to share the screen, share the sound, share the video, and here we go.
Oh, there we are.
Do you remember why you first joined the Toastmasters Club? Was it to become a leader? I think you were probably more like me. I joined Toastmasters so that I could improve my speaking to a group, to become a better communicator. Leader? No, that wasn't on my mind at all. There is a paradox, though, in becoming a better communicator. Ask yourself, why do you want to become a better communicator? Or let's turn that question around. Why should people want to listen to you? Because they think you have knowledge that they would like to attain? Because you have answers that they're looking for? Because they look up to you? Or because it matters to them what you think? If people are willing to listen to you, you have influence. And as John C. Maxwell explains in his Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, number 2, the true measure of leadership is influence. Nothing more, nothing less. If it matters to people what you say to them, then obviously they see you as a leader. This is the first paradox of better communication. To be a good communicator, that is, if you want people to listen to you, you have to be a leader. People want to listen to Anthony Robbins, Oprah Winfrey, Bill Clinton, and they'll pay exorbitant fees in order to do so. But these speakers have refined leadership skills. Let's suppose, though, that you don't really want to be a leader. Let's suppose you just want to hang around with a group, be members of the gang, do things, just have fun. Have you ever noticed that some people are warmly welcomed into your group and others are shunned and others still are core members? Why? Group fitness has to do with the habitual interaction skills of the members of the group. Skills like befriending, listening, sharing, supporting, participating. Some of these are listed in the CL manual. But this is the second paradox of better communication. Even to be a good group member, you need basic leadership skills. Now, whether your destiny is to lead a group or simply be a member of a group, the development of better communication is inseparably woven into leadership development. So I put it to you now. How serious are you about your goal to improve your communication skills? Maybe just a little bit serious, just enough to get by, or really serious, like you really want to get ahead to accomplish something significant. Are you serious enough to embrace the better communication paradox and become a leader?
Thank you, Fran. That was lovely.
Yeah.
Just one example of what Phil was able to do. Very, very precious. Now we'll move on to the table topics, the many faces of Phil.
Now,
Fran,
let me-
lead that.
let me bring up this. We did practice this a little bit beforehand, so let me see if I can get this to work. Okay, come on, open up. All right. Now, is it going to work? All right. If not, I will just click through them. But this is the many faces of Phil.
It's, don't see anything.
Is it coming up or not? Not
No.
seeing. All right. Let me hit share screen. Okay.
That's better. Yeah.
Wait, here we go. Oh, now it's okay. It says it's doing a video, so let's try this. Nope, not. Okay. This was at a conference.
Yeah.
Oh, there's me.
Yeah. There's Beth. Yeah. There we are. There's the tutu.
There he is.
Yes.
Ah. Oh, gosh.
He had such a great time with that,
Yeah.
Travis.
Rainbow. Excellent. Excellent.
This was a Christmas presentation.
Mhm. At the church.
Had some great hats.
There was another St. Patrick's that he did one time and I couldn't find the picture, but that was, and this is when he was crowned president.
Oh,
Oh, boy.
Bill made me a hat like that too when I was president.
I think it was the same one. I think he saved it.
Okay, yeah.
And this is Mark Bissonette here as well. And Kathy and Phil had done a presentation on their trip, visiting their daughter.
Oh, yeah. Oh, starting over. Okay.
The end. Yeah. So those are the many faces of Phil that I was able to pull from some of the pictures I saved over the years. And I'm sure there are more that, but there were some that were taken, of course, before we had them all on our computers. So I probably have pictures somewhere. But. So now for our table topics, it's an opportunity for people to share thoughts about Phil. If you knew him, you'll have a little more. For those of you who don't necessarily know him, you might have comments just to share on his educational tip today, what you saw in that, in the educational tip. So who would like to begin?
I can.
Okay, Rose.
When I went to see, I only went to see about Toastmasters. I didn't go to join. And of course, Fran was there, Phil was there. And to sit and watch them interact, the way they spoke with us, welcomed us. Phil always had a smile on his face and always ready to jump and give you that extra little hand, whether you were trying to move the podium or whatever you were doing. He was ready with a smile on his face to help you. It wasn't an imposition to Phil. It was, I think, his mantra to do that for people. And he has a strong effect on people. I never knew for quite a while that he'd been a school teacher, because I thought all school teachers were fluent with being up at the front of the class and comfortable. That kind of struck me, and that he was putting that extra effort in, even though he wasn't teaching anymore. He still just wanted to take that extra step to better himself. I think he was a great person. I know he came to my home a couple times to help me with things I was tasked with. And I just appreciate him very much and miss him.
Thank you, Rose.
Thanks.
Who would like to go next? Beth,
Courtney put her hand up.
Courtney, okay.
can
Good
go.
morning, Courtney.
Oh, Phil, such a wonderful person. So helpful and supportive all the time to us. Really had lots of heart in everything that he did, didn't he? Above all, I think he really challenged us as a leader and a communicator. He was a mentor to many people in this group, including myself. And I really looked up to him. I thought he was an excellent role model. I remember first walking into my first Toastmasters meeting in person. And actually the first person that I saw sitting at the table was Phil. And he was just so inviting. I really resonated when someone mentioned the gleam in his eye. I really had the sense that he was just that welcoming person, very warm, positive demeanor, just kind of motioned me to come on over and sit next to him at the table. And just became Toastmasters family. So I actually learned a lot from Phil. I learned that it's important to never stop learning and improving, even as you get a bit older and your career is over. There's still so much more that you can gain and people that you can help. So I think a lot of Phil, and we're certainly going to miss him. Thank you.
Thank you, Courtney. Beth.
Hello. Nice to see everybody again. Yes, I'm sure we certainly will miss Phil. He was always very enthusiastic, very anxious to help and to mentor. I remember one evening he was doing a speech. I don't know what path it was or whatever, but he was going to cook a meal for us. It had sausage and tomatoes and that kind of stuff. He had come early and set everything up, and he was just so fired up, ready to go. And when he started his lesson or his speech, he realized he had forgot the cooking oil, and you could just see him deflate. He was just so disappointed that he had forgotten that. But he did that speech again a few weeks later, and we all enjoyed his meal. And it was just something that just really struck me as just how deflated he was because he couldn't present it that first evening. But he was very enthusiastic about everything. And yes, I'm sure we all will miss him.
Thank you, Beth. What, 2 minutes? But
It's still good.
oh, we're good for as long as it takes.
Yep.
Yep.
Go ahead, Brad.
Well, being from the other end of the valley, I only got to see Phil when it came time for contests and visiting your end of the valley. What I found was one who likes to have fun. He just enjoyed being around people. He just enjoyed the time he had at Toastmasters. I mean, I saw through the videos how much fun he had. Even when it just goes up to presenting him with an award, you can see half the different faces. He didn't even have a normal face when he went up there. But that was somebody who learned to have fun every single time he was at Toastmasters. And he was funny. He, like weeks before he died, he did the two impromptu speeches based in humor. And he did a very, very good job with that. So I saw a man who was funny, but always had time to help his town, his area. I mean, the book fair, I was going to mention that, and I completely forgot the name. But it was that commitment to his community that sent him far and above the ordinary, the other Toastmaster. So what did I see in Phil from all of this? A guy who enjoyed his time as Toastmasters and enjoyed his time helping others. And that is what will be missed in Area 10.
Thank you, Brad. Anybody else, Susan?
I didn't have much of a chance to meet Phil. I met him, but not able to really get to know him because it's only since the Renfrew Club has been joined with the Pembroke Club. But I do remember the first time that I saw Phil's face on the screen and he began to speak. He presented himself like a grandfather. That's who I saw him as. He is somebody's grandfather, and he loves life, and he loves to be around his family. That's my first impression that I had of Phil. And the speeches that he gave during my short time with him at Toastmasters, I really enjoyed them because they were always about life, always a lesson to be learned. And one that particularly strikes me is the night he told the story about his wife and the sewing machine. I was really tickled by that little story. And it just seemed like a natural thing that we all would do. So, and I'm learning more now that Phil is gone, like listening to some of the tributes tonight. I have been a longtime fan of the Stone Fence Theater, and only just now am I realizing that he was one of those persons on stage. I never made the connection. And so I have really enjoyed his theatrics, as he has gone through many productions that I have seen. So that's just a little short piece on my impression of Phil, but I wish I would have had the chance to get to know him better. But obviously there are other plans in store for him, and I'm sure he will be missed by many, many Toastmasters all across the country. So rest in peace, my friend.
Thank you, Susan. Lynn.
On Facebook, I just want to add, so you guys can go look on Facebook,
Okay.
Stone Fence Theater
Mhm.
did do a write-up about Phil.
Okay, I'll go take a look at that after.
Okay.
Lynn.
Okay, it's a long time since I saw Phil in person. I remember meetings that we had over at Quail Creek, and there was one night, I'm not sure what I was on about, but I can remember Phil just saying something kind of really funny and really stupid to me to make me laugh. And I really don't remember what I was worrying about, but I do remember he did kind of get me out of my trees. And there was a time when we had a Christmas meeting at the Renfrew Tea Room, which no longer exists. And I was the person that got that meeting going, as it was an aircraft carrier, like on Top Gun. And I brought some music, some of the Top Gun music. And the thing I remember is that Phil did not like that music. Well, he didn't like that music. But, you know, he just expressed that he didn't like it, and that was it. And I can remember at that same meeting, something about a joke of his wife being his ball and chain. Something, I don't even remember how that all came about, but I do remember that. So he was a fun person. He had a good sense of humor, and he'll be missed.
Thank you, Lynn. Alex.
Yes, I haven't met Phil in person. All I know about him, I know about from his speeches and a little bit of research I made later because I found Phil interesting. But in his speeches, he was very compassionate. He was talking about the cause a lot. I remember his speeches on the indigenous people, and those were very informative and filled with pain that I felt that he felt, and I appreciated that. In one of the speeches, he was talking about his struggles with depression and his story, how he joined, and how this was the group that invited him in and accepted him with his struggles, and that helped him to overcome it. I remember thinking that, you know, as far as reasons to join go, this is not the worst one. And he definitely showed a very clear path forward for me, that if I join, I will be welcomed no matter the condition, no matter what I'm going through. And I appreciated that. And I've learned that through Phil. And I later looked up what he was doing. I learned about his activities in the book club and his theater. And I was really hoping that one day we would get together and have a chat about at least some of them, and have a conversation. And he sounded like a person that I would absolutely enjoy learning from. But unfortunately, as many said, there were other plans. So he will be missed for many reasons.
Thank you, Alex. Ellen.
Sorry, Fran, did you ask me?
Yep.
Yeah. First of all, my condolences to family and friends and all community. And I was really lucky to meet Phil 2 weeks ago at the meeting online. And I did this before communication, this Phil, like, because he, as my understanding, he was a treasure, right? So we communicated by email, and finally we met at this meeting. And I really found that this person was amazing in his speech, because I was listening everything and I was laughing. The stories were amazing, and I sent him the message that I was impressed by his sense of humor. Still remember his story about wife, and really he enjoyed to tell this story. Like he made this joke from himself and his wife, and it's wonderful. Like, person can do it. So I was even hoping to have them as evaluator. Yeah, definitely he will be missed, and the person he is, it's a role model. And today video about his leadership, it's again, it's impressed me. I wish I could get more learning from him, and he will be missed.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. Maddie.
Where to start? I met Phil when I first came to the Pembroke, when I first started coming to the Pembroke meetings on Tuesdays. Because my motto was, one meeting is not enough, and still not enough. And ever since I first started doing speeches in Pembroke, Phil would always give me positive evaluations and things to improve. And I always took that as a respect thing, because it's always good to get positive feedback. And I enjoyed getting his feedback from him. I was looking forward to getting him being my evaluator, but the plans changed. And he was a very funny guy. He had lots of funny humor. He was very humorous. He always has humor. Who can't have humor? But Bill was a very nice guy. He would always welcome me when he would host the Zoom meeting too. He would always welcomed me with open arms, and he was very welcoming when I would come and attend the Pembroke meetings. And Phil was a very nice guy and he will be missed. We will all miss you, Phil.
Thanks, Betty. When I was at the wake this afternoon and Phil had been cremated and his urn was there, and on the front of it was a duck. Now, those who have been members of the Pembroke Club for a while will probably remember his duck story. He and a buddy were going hunting, and he actually did this in full, you know, his hat, the plaid shirt, the everything to tell the story, his duck story. And his buddy were going hunting, and they came to this place and they saw all these ducks in a pond. I thought, wow, look at all the ducks in the pond. And so they ended up killing half a dozen ducks, and then the ducks came back to the pond. And so then they got the other half of the ducks. And when Phil passed through that town a little while later, there was a big story in the newspaper about how the children's pet ducks had somehow mysteriously disappeared from the pond where they had been raising them for the past year. And he took the newspaper and folded it up so no one could ever see it. And he said he never hunted again after that. But when he told us this story, I mean, it was cap and gown and climbing up and shooting and the whole bit. So when people talk about Phil's sense of humor, he definitely had a sense of humor and he utilized it well. I see that Craig Sr.'s popped in here. So Craig, if you would like to share a memory that you have of Phil, now is the time.
Well, I wasn't really planning to share anything. I can just say that I met Phil and worked with him a few times, in particular when I was district treasurer back around 2006 or so. And Phil and Kathy were running the district bookstore. I see Ed nodding his head. I see Fran nodding her head, and everyone's wondering, what's that? That was a bunch of Toastmasters materials, pamphlets, booklets, various and sundry items in storage containers. And Phil would go to TLIs and conferences and set up and sell these items to raise money for the district, but mostly to be a convenience for people. Phil took care of all the forms and the money and the bookkeeping for all that. And I just appreciated him, not only for that, but for other things that we would do together. But that one in particular comes to mind. That was just a labor of love on behalf of Phil.
That it was. That I remember those days when he used to cart that stuff around. He lived in Stittsville and he would pack up his car, he and Kathy, truck everything around and look after everything. And that was, as Craig said, a labor of love, because there sure wasn't a lot of money in it. None, as a matter of fact. As Craig would say, as treasurer, there was nothing extra. He did that all out of the love of sharing and being a community member.
He reminded me that serving didn't necessarily come with great fanfare, but just quietly going about taking care of people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Does anybody have anything else they would like to share before we, Rose?
Yes, I'd like to make.
What I saw with everybody speaking, it's something just came together for me. He was transparent and he was not apologetic about who he was. That's who he was. He didn't hide anything to make himself better or worse. What you saw in front of you was the man you received, with his humor, with his depression, with everything. He was, he didn't pretend. He was transparent.
Thank you,
Thanks
Rose.
for that.
Ed?
Yes, referring partly now back to that tutorial we saw the recording that Phil made.
Yeah.
And when I first, well, one of the first times I met Phil, he sort of fit very nicely with that bit about Toastmasters and leadership. And a little tweak on the leadership, which I've heard called leadership from behind. During the first time I was the area governor, and they were called governors back then, I had the challenge of running an area contest. And Phil was one of the contestants at that time. And I got to admit, I didn't know what I was doing. Phil, in a very subtle way, mind you, he wasn't the only one. I needed a lot of guidance at that time. But Phil, in a very subtle way, was able to provide that leadership from behind that helped me get through some of those awkward events, my learning experience. So that's one of the things I really appreciate about Phil. It was mentioned earlier that Phil was not like in your face. He had your back, a better way of putting it. He helped you move forward and learn as a leader without in any way at all being obtrusive. And I thought that was really impressive.
Thank you, Ed. So does anybody have any further comments? If not, we will wrap up our table topics session and give the meeting back to our Toastmaster.
Right. Thank you very much, Fran. That was fantastic. That was very nice. Now we're going to turn the meeting over to our general evaluator. Our evaluator tonight is Brad Dada. Please welcome Brad.
Excuse me. Thank you very much, Ed, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. I would actually love to give my report right now because I have a lot to say about what happened this evening. But before I do that, I'm just going to quickly ask Maddie, just as a quick report on our timing this evening.
Yep. Let me start my timer before I forget. Mr. GE, fellow Toastmasters, and yes, tonight I am going to give our timer report on this special meeting for Phil. Our theme came to 2 minutes and 34 seconds. Our toast by Fran came to 1 minute and 16 seconds. Our joke/story by Ed came to 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Our educational tip, which was the video, was 3 minutes and 42 seconds. Our table topics was 1 to 2 minutes for each person. Rose took 1 minute and 36 seconds. Courtney took 1 minute and 30. Beth took 1 minute and 1. Brad took 1 minute and 36. Susan took 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Lynn took 1 minute and 53 seconds. Alex took 1 minute and 50 seconds. Helen took 1 minute and 30 seconds. I took 58 seconds. Fran took 1 minute and 38 seconds. Craig took 1 minute and 20 seconds. And Ed took 1 minute and 23 seconds, and I'm sitting at 1 minute and 15 seconds, Mr. GE.
Punctual as always, Maddie. Punctual as always. So what did I see tonight? I saw a fitting tribute to a wonderful Toastmaster who was with Toastmasters for decades and decades. One who was helpful within Toastmasters in the running of the bookstore. One who was helpful in, as Ed said, leading from behind, giving you that extra little shove forward to make sure that you are doing everything that you did okay. And his work, and see his work outside of Toastmasters, as Craig Senior is showing right now. His work, again, his work outside of Toastmasters, with his work with the on the literary side with that fair and event. What I saw was a man who basically enjoyed life, whether it was helping others, being a Toastmaster, being transparent, because you saw what you saw Phil that time is what you're going to get. Nothing hidden, nothing taken away. What you saw was what you got with Phil. This evening, we saw, as I said, in the end, a fitting tribute to one who will be sorely missed by friends, family, and fellow Toastmasters alike. We will miss you, Phil. We will miss your humor, and we will miss your help that you've given over the years.
Right. Thank you very much, Brett. Yes, Phil, you will be missed. Now is the opportunity for our guests to make any final comments. Rose, would you like to start?
I have been thinking about Toastmasters for a while, thinking of coming back. And I think Phil might just be the reason. He's still working.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay. How about you, Beth? Would you like to make a comment?
I remember just recently I had sent an email saying it would be so nice to get together in person again. And Phil had replied to me saying he didn't miss the drives in. I remember one time he hit a deer, and it was quite a drive for him, but it would be nice to get back together in person since I don't have a camera on my computer.
Oh,
Sorry, folks.
All right. Thank you very much, Beth. How about you, Craig? Would you like to make any final comments?
I'm just happy I was able to just sneak in at the end of the meeting. I've been doing one training session. I have another one starting as soon as I'm done. So I'm grateful I was able to come in, and thank you for asking that question. And you saw the picture that I flashed up there. I'm happy to send it to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Craig. Anybody else have any final comments they'd like to make?
I just thought maybe since Craig missed the slideshow before, I just popped those pictures up again, and
Okay,
that's okay with everybody?
sure.
I just wanted to add thank you to Fran and Ed for putting together this beautiful tribute. It was a really nice meeting. So thank you to you both.
So why, or Phil, are you not working? All right, hang on. I may have to go back to the original page up here. Okay.
kitty cat.
See, Craig's got to help her.
Yeah. Another cat. And they're both orange gingers.
Yeah, this one always attends the meetings with me.
I blocked my stairs. I just rescued a poodle Shih Tzu mix, and everywhere I go, he goes, and he would have destroyed. Would have been destructive meetings. So I blocked my
Mhm.
stairs.
My cat is locked up every night upstairs because of our tree.
How you doing, Fran?
So that obviously didn't show.
No.
All right, for whatever reason, I thought it was showing and I was sharing and I wasn't sharing at all.
Ed, what's your
Why am
email
I not?
address?
Why am I not sharing? There.
Okay, that's working.
There it goes, Fran.
Okay. So the different hairdos that he had too.
Yeah.
This was the beginning, but it's now the end. So, all right. I don't know why it keeps telling me I have the video going because I don't. Okay, back. This is when he was crowned president. And then Ed got that same crown later. I like that, the word ineffable with Phil.
Mhm.
I'd love to remember what Kathy was saying to him there. Something to do with our Christmas meeting, whatever that was. And that's his, I think that was Halloween. I do believe it was Halloween.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
And that was the fridge that always made so much noise at the meeting.
Never kept a serious face.
No, and there, look at his beautiful long hair there compared to the other one. And with Rose. Some lovely pictures here, lovely smile.
Yeah.
And Kathy.
He cleaned up nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bye. Goodbye. No. All right, that's it for me.
Okay, I'm going to now move on to the VP Ed report. This is where we take a look at the meeting roles we've done recently and ask for volunteers for the next few weeks. Okay, so I now share.
Are we meeting in person next week for Christmas?
Oh, yeah, well, that's something to discuss.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh yes, we talked about that meeting in Cobden. We
Well, the 13th is our next meeting, and that'll be another Zoom meeting.
Oh, it was the 20th we talked about.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, now, there were some people who had volunteered for tonight to do speeches. Are they interested, anybody, them interested in continuing, moving that on for next week? Let's see now. We don't have a Toastmaster for next week. I don't think so. I don't know what I don't think I meant anything by O here.
Oh, we have no one. Oh.
That's a problem. Okay, do we have a solution? Does anybody want to volunteer to be the Toastmaster for next week?
Courtney, are you around or are you away?
Probably not the week for me, but I can do the next week.
The Christmas or the New Year's?
Whichever one.
Well, I get the Christmas party. Okay, I'll give you that then.
Sure.
Okay.
I actually will be traveling to Ottawa on the 13th. I will try to make it, but yeah, there is a chance that
Okay.
I might not be able to.
Okay.
Can I be a speaker then? Just as it was planned, this ice break speech.
You want to do icebreaker next week? Okay, good for you.
I'll evaluate.
Okay, that'll be there. Okay. Okay. We have another opportunity for a second speaker if anybody is interested. And Brad, you're going to be the quiz master? Susan?
Yeah, Quizmaster, and then my Christmas story.
Christmas story. Right
Well,
here.
joke story.
Okay, yeah, got it.
Okay.
Annette's signed up to be the building a team for an educational tip. Okay, so only thing we need is a Toastmaster. I've been the Toastmaster quite a bit recently, so I shouldn't really volunteer for that. This is an opportunity to practice your leadership skills.
Switch up me if nobody else wants to do it, and you can evaluate Helen.
Okay. Okay.
Then that's it.
Does that cover most of the roles there? Okay, how about the Christmas party? Courtney will be our Toastmaster. We're not even sure what we're doing. The idea was to go to a local restaurant and have a meal and a rather brief meeting right afterwards. Basically, maybe just some table topics, or if anybody's got a speech they want to make, they can make it then. But we're not really expecting it to be a real meeting, just sort of a bit of a fun time. That's why I'm thinking about some table topics. Oh, yeah, I see Fran's already got herself down as table topics. Sounds good. Okay, and because we have a chance for all of us to give a little Joker story too at the same time.
Hi, Craig.
Okay. Do we need anything else in there? Anybody got any suggestion for anything else we want to do during the Christmas party?
Probably toast should be.
Toast. Okay, who'd like to do the toast?
Helen.
Helen, okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I will try.
Oh, good for you.
Not,
Okay,
not good in toasts, at least in English. Yeah, I don't know.
okay,
Wow.
that's very good.
Do it in a couple of different languages. What the heck?
Hey, sounds good. Now, how about our first meeting in the new year? Anybody got any suggestions? The theme is New Year's decisions. Now,
Are
this,
are we still going joint this time, or
Oh.
we're planning on separating? What?
you guys are
like,
most welcome to join us.
no problem. Well, no problem.
Yeah, that's a decision that I guess needs to be made by the executive and Renfrew Club to decide if we're going to continue. We Renfrew are going to continue doing this, because we did talk about going back to Monday nights in January, because I think that Annette's Tuesdays were busier. I'm not sure. So that's something that needs to be discussed before we make that decision. But we'll still have Pembroke on Tuesday anyway.
Sure.
Okay, well, I'll hold off then on any other requests for activities until we make some decisions on that.
Yeah.
So that will conclude my VP Ed. And next we're moving on to,
We don't have any awards tonight.
no words, no, the Toastmaster comments and announcements. Okay, Brad, go ahead.
That my area director's hat is going on now. And all I really have to talk about right now is the contests. For since as of right now, we only have 3 clubs in good standing, which would be Renfrew, Pembroke, and Chalk River Labs. We can send, each club can send 2 per event. So we can send 2 speakers and 2 evaluators. So if that is something you would like to still discuss or decide on, or if you're not going to participate within the contest, you can help to run the contest, because we're all looking for equal, what we're looking for is equal representation for the area 10 and 13 contests. So if you decide on to participate within the contest as speaker evaluator, let me know, or as a helper, I can tell you which roles are available. You can let me know at that point. And if just to let you know, for those who haven't been in a contest, there's your ballot counters, there's timers, there's
Sergeant at Arms.
arms. So if you with one explanation on any of those, just feel free to shoot me off an email. Or if you wish to participate, I can tell you what's involved in participating, or anybody else can. I'll tell you right now, participating in a contest is definitely a worthwhile experience. I've always called it the Olympics of Toastmasters, because if you think about it, you practice doing speeches and say either table topics or evaluations during your meetings. These contests are a way basically of pitting yourself against somebody else and competing, much like the Olympics. So if you're interested to learn more or be willing participant, just think it over. And I'm going to ask the same question again next week. So I'm hoping we get some answers by that point.
Okay, sounds good. Any other comments for the good of Toastmasters?
Who's looking after membership?
Oh,
I'll probably get all the paperwork from Phil and do that. So I'll probably see Kathy sometime this next week and get all of that. So if you would like us to send you a membership form that you can fill out, then
Yes,
we'll
please.
get that off to you. All right.
Okay.
Sounds good.
okay, very good. You're quite welcome to join us. Okay. The,
It's,
Tell you
it's
that-
gonna be like joining a total new club and you guys will, I'm gonna need your help because everything I did was on paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's all on the computer. So we're, yeah, walking through the pathways. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Certainly we can assign you a mentor if you like, and
Oh.
they can be available to help you with the pathways experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even just someone to sit with me when I first go through it.
Yeah, that really helps. That's true.
Yeah.
Really good. Okay.
So I will get you a membership form. Has your email changed? Still the
No.
same?
No, still the same.
All righty. So I'll get that off to you tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Now, if anybody has any other questions they'd like to ask sort of more informally, just hang on to the meeting and we can discuss it afterwards. But for now, I'll now formally conclude the meeting. Thank you all for coming. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.